Hello and welcome to another episode of the Realty Funnels podcast, where we dive deep into the strategies and tools that can help you skyrocket your real estate business. And do we have a powerful strategy for you today? Especially in this current real estate market, where buyers are demanding homes that are updated, looking sharp, and move-in ready. We are pleased to introduce Tracy Cronlund, Vice President of Partnerships at Curbio. Curbio is a powerful pre-listing solution for agents and their home sellers. With zero payments due up front, Curbio provides a white glove service, enabling sellers to get their home market ready without worrying about upfront costs. Sellers get to fix now and pay when they sell. Tracy, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This is so exciting.
Oh, it's my pleasure and just a delight to have you with us. So tell us about Curbio and how this could be a better way for real estate agents and home sellers.
Yeah, sure. So just a little bit of background about us. We were founded in 2017. We are based in 70 cities. We do projects in 70 cities nationwide, and we do about 2,000 projects a year. And so we really have this process down to a science. Our goal is to work with agents to help get their listings ready for sale. And by ready for sale, I mean looking their best. So whether it's just painting, flooring, landscaping, to repairs, replacing appliances, fixing roofs, renovating the kitchen, renovating the bathroom, whatever that means to get the house ready for sale, we are the real estate agent's partner. We also defer all payment until closing. So really the cherry on top is that no money is due up front, and we take payment out of closing and make it really easy for sellers.
So a real estate agent would go over, meet with a home seller and look at the current condition of that home and say, okay, in its as-is condition, this home is probably going to be worth somewhere in the range of $395 to $420, and
Yep.
we just have to put it on the market and see exactly where it shakes out, but in its current condition. But many real estate agents probably have a good sense because they're out looking at real estate all week long.
Yep.
Wow, if they had the newer looking flooring, if they did a freshen up on the paint, if they were able to get rid of those terrible looking drapes that grandma put up in 1978.
Yes.
And if they could do some nice window treatments, the home would probably fetch maybe somewhere in the neighborhood of $450 to $470.
Right.
So we've got a gap there of $55,000 or so. We don't know, but somewhere in that range.
Yep.
And really just because it needs a bit of work. Now, a lot of times home sellers are just saving up all their money for the next move.
That's right.
And they don't necessarily have cash where they can say, let's go ahead and put 15 or 20 into this project with 1 foot out the door. Or it might be the case that a loved one inherited a property that grandma had lived in for a good period of time. They used to go there for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and they're used to it looking that way because it's grandma's house. But boy, if we're going to put it on the market and get top dollar, we're going to really have to make some updates and improvements. So what are those different types of projects that you get into? I mean, you're starting with like a light touch up, but how big do you go?
Yeah, it's a great question, Kevin. And, I like to tell agents, when you go in, when you're at that listing presentation, like you decided, there's kind of 3 doors to go down. Like door number 1 is sell as is, which, you did a good example. You're going to get less money, comps are going to be higher. Then the other 2 doors are use a traditional contractor to fix it up or use Curbio to fix it up. Obviously, with a traditional contractor, you have to pay up front. They also work on other projects, so aren't like, their number one goal isn't to get the house ready for sale. It's just to get the work done. So they might not know like the color whites and the cabinets and all this stuff to get ready for resale. And then you have Curbio. That's all that we do. And of course, the deferring payment until closing. So those are really the 3 options. I think we all can agree, like selling as is, the seller is going to lose out with some money on the table. And so it's down to those other 2. And like I said, we do projects starting at like $5,000 up to like 500,000. So it really just depends on the shape of the house, and really how long somebody's lived there, of course. And so a lot of times we might just need to paint it and maybe like replace carpet to hardwoods in one of the floors. And that would be a really inexpensive project. It probably is going to make the house just look so much better, sell faster. You know, maybe it's not a ton of extra returns, but it's really just to compete with the neighbor's house that's going to have some of that stuff done. And then there's also the other side where it's, you know, I've actually seen, we have a case study on our website of a San Diego property that was $1 million as is. They put $100,000 of work into it. They like completely redid the kitchen and some of the bathrooms, and it ended up selling for 1.7.
Wow.
So in that case, it was like a $600,000 profit, even if you take away the $100,000, you know, that they put into it. So it made such a big impact because the kitchen was so dated, the bathrooms were so dated, and having this like modern, fresh house really helped it sell for top dollar. You know, and I don't know the situation in that case, if the seller couldn't afford the $100,000 to do the work, or they were like, I just don't want to pay for it. Like there's no, using Curbio, there's no interest, there's no fees. Like there's no reason to not pay for it if somebody's going to give you the money and there's no extra cost for it. I also like to say, you know, that I think people sometimes think of us as just deferring payment, but that's really only one of our benefits. The other main benefit is like the concierge experience. So we take care of everything. You have a dedicated project manager at Curbio, and they're the ones that's organizing the contractors, organizing the materials, helping guide the agent and the seller through this entire process from start to finish. So it really makes it really easy and simple. We also, I know a lot of your viewers like kind of smart systems and making things easy. We are powered by technology. So we actually have an app that shows the seller and the agent pictures from the contractor along the way. Like, here's the new paint I did. Here's the faucet I installed. So really is trying to modernize the home improvement process and make that whole process hassle-free and seamless, which I don't know if you've ever sold a house, but it's very overwhelming to get a house ready to go on the market. Especially like me, I have a young child, I work, I'm busy, like it's a lot. It's a lot of stress.
Lisa and I like to sell homes frequently. We are constantly out looking at homes. We're like, let's buy that home. And I think it's very helpful selling homes frequently as a real estate agent, just so you stay in a place of empathy for your consumers who are buying a home or selling a home, making a move and a huge transition. It can be very stressful. And I often joke that it typically takes 7 to 11 years on average for the amnesia to set in before somebody will move again.
Before you have to move again. No, it's true. There's a lot, especially now with, you know, everybody's going online to shop for houses. So like the pictures need to look really, really good. I mean, the house needs to look a certain way for, you know, young buyers with families who are coming in, or the area I live is kind of like a bit of a retirement community. There's a lot of pickleball and golf and restaurants. So people are selling their houses from big urban areas, retiring, coming to my area. And those people also don't want to do work when they get a house. They're ready to play pickleball. They're recently retired. Like they don't want to buy a fixer-upper. They want to move in ready house. So
we really saw that during the market shift during COVID, that there was a massive move away from, oh, we can put in tile and we can paint, to, I don't want to do a thing.
Yeah.
And I think that in this market right now, especially as there is, you know, every market's always a shifting and ebbing and flowing market. But right now, what we're really seeing is an enormous pressure on home sellers to be the best option in the market. And if you're not the best option in the market, your home is not going to be the one that sells next.
That's
the
right.
best option will.
Yeah. And that's a great point, is that Curbio, a lot of agents use us in the beginning, obviously, when they first get a listing, as saying, here's, like I said, here's an option to use Curbio to spruce it up. But another time to think of Curbio is if a house has been sitting. So everyone has probably had a house that has been sitting for 60 days. You're dreading the homeowner calling and saying, hello, agent, what's going on? And instead of saying, like, let's cut the price again, if the house needs some freshening up, it might be time to say, hey, let's pause. Let's take the house off the market for very short amount of time, a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, clean up some stuff and put it back on the market, and even ask for more depending on how much work you do, or at least get that money without reducing it and get it sold. I have so many stories of homeowners that did this, and it for the best, it ended up selling more quickly. And if you think about our business model, like, this is all that we do. We work with agents to get houses ready for sale. Speed, quality, yes, but also speed is very important to us, because at the end of the day, we also don't get paid until the house sells. And so our contractors who work with us, we have a trusted network of contractors who we vet and we make sure are, quality and trustworthy. They know that it's a Curbio project. Like, we got to move quickly, because we all know that we don't want to waste time, getting these houses ready for sale.
I think a lot of real estate agents also struggle with making a recommendation that they can feel confident in even making.
Yeah.
I remember years ago, an agent called me up and said, do you have a painter that you'd recommend? And I had to say, boy, when I think back on the last 3 experiences with these painters, I know painters, none I'd really want to recommend.
Right.
And then during, the market run up in 2020, 2021, 2022, it was so difficult to get a contract.
That's right. Yeah. And that's why one of our benefits too is we have a network of contractors. So if contractor number 1 is busy, we'll move on to contractor number 2. And with our concierge experience, we are the ones managing the project. So I've also I was at a conference last week in Vegas. I met so many agents, and a lot of people were like, Tracy, I'm tired of managing contractors. Like, I didn't sign up to be a real estate agent so that I could, give out painters and manage this and landscapers. Like, it's just working with Curbio. We call the painter, we call the landscaper, we call the electrician, we call the kitchen guy. Like, we do everything. I would say, the only thing we don't really do is foundations. Like,
interesting.
Everything else, from like roofs to pools to landscaping, HVAC, roofs, electrical, painting, tile, like, you name it, except foundations and additions. We don't really do additions because, most of the time you don't need to build like an extra bedroom to get your house sold. But right. Any like permitting or anything that goes with the work, like, we're going to take care of it. We are the licensed and insured general contractor on every single project.
So 70 markets where you can service opportunities with real estate agents. How many states does that cover? Do you have a notion of that?
That's a good question. Maybe 20. So we do a lot of work. Yeah, we do a lot of work in California, Texas, Arizona, Florida, Georgia, Maryland, Virginia, DC, Chicago, Colorado, Minnesota. So maybe Tennessee, maybe about 20 different states, but a lot of states we do like all of like the major market areas. That's really great. And I was looking on your website, Curbio.com, and I saw that those are the major markets. I mean, you're in the major markets, and I'm sure that over time you'll be expanding into others as well. So this company was created in 2017. I think, obviously an innovator coming into a space where there's a need, because it's so difficult for home sellers who are either saving up their money for a down payment or don't necessarily have extra funds sitting around or don't necessarily want to get into all this management. Now we've got an option where they don't need to pay up front. They don't need to pay as we go. There aren't draws. There aren't all these headaches for the home seller. Who is the money bags who figured this whole thing out, and how does he have so much money sitting around that he can front these jobs? Yeah. So, our CEO, his name is Rick Rudman. He was the one that started the company 6 years ago. And he actually was the CEO of another company, a tech company called Vocus. This was about 20 years ago. And I had actually worked at Vocus for 10 years. And a lot of our executive team had worked at Vocus. So it was a technology company. And he brought his love of technology to the home improvement industry. So I think that's how it started. I think he actually had gotten a house done himself and was like, why isn't this so difficult to reach the contractor by phone? And why is everything so hard? And that's when I think this idea came to him. And so again, he probably, I don't know the financial side of it, but probably in the beginning he fronted some money. I mean, we have investors and stuff now. We do so many projects, but we do enough projects that, the money is there, obviously. And we just have built this kind of network of doing this at scale. And like I had mentioned, we have a design team too. So we have a bunch of designers on staff whose only job is to help pick light fixtures and the color white and the countertops and all of the stuff. And I always say they have the boringest job in the world because they're picking things that appeal to the masses. So they're not doing fun wallpaper, fun, light fixtures. It's very.
You're going to see on the inside pages of HGTV with the purple cabinets in the kitchen.
That's right. Yeah.
No, this has got to be market ready.
Yeah, exactly. And then one other thing I forgot to mention, we just launched staging in all 70 markets. So it's such a great feature. People have been asking about it for years, but it works like all of our other services. So you can now stage a house and defer payment until after closing. So you can either, if a house just needs to be staged, which there probably isn't any houses that actually just need to be staged, but if you did have that, you still could use Curbio and defer payment. But a lot of times it's just such a nice fit with all of our other work, like you're painting and you're fixing the countertops and you're, doing some tile work. Oh, and by the way, you need the house to be staged. My personal story is I moved from Washington, D.C. A few hours east about a year ago, and we're renting our place in D.C. And once the sellers move out this summer, we've decided to sell it. And, I can afford the work to be done. But now I live 2 hours away. I'm going to have a vacant house that was just a rental. It's obviously going to need to be fixed up. And it's not about the money. It's about the time. And I'm going to need it staged. I'm a busy mother. There's no way I'm going back and forth, meeting different contractors. I obviously work here, but I'm going to use Curbio for sure. So I'm going to find an agent who, knows what Curbio is. And that's how I'm going to sell my house because I need all that work and I don't have the time. Yeah.
I mean, people are so busy these days. We're all getting busier by the minute, it seems. And now you have this opportunity and a solution, not only just for the home sellers, but you think about real estate agents, they're busy too.
Yeah.
And, they didn't sign up, hey, let me get a real estate license so that I can manage renovation projects on behalf of a client.
No. Yeah.
And so it's not in the real estate agent's highest and best use. It's not their strength zone.
No.
And in your scenario, when you're living out in the Chesapeake Bay, a 2-hour drive into the district makes 0 sense when the guy could cancel, not show, something came up, he got called away. What a headache. And now Curbio is a great solution.
Yeah. And and I need staging. So I don't want to call all of these different people. But yeah, and now that I live here, I never want to go into the city. I've become such a country girl living out here. But yeah, it's a nice solution for, when a listing's sitting too long. It's a nice solution for when you win a listing. It's also a good solution for prospecting, for calling. All agents can use Curbio. There's no restrictions. There's no fees for agents. So just go to Curbio.com to get started. But it's a good way to say, hey, Mr. Prospect, you told me 6 months ago you might be selling your house. I have this partner, Curbio. Here's how they help homeowners like you guys. Let me know if you want to explore this. I can come over and have some tea with you. It's just another way to get your foot in the door, show them you're thinking about them without being too salesy or too aggressive. You're just saying, this is an option. Here's all of the benefits.
Oh, I think it's a fantastic tool. Agents should have it in their toolbox. Now, you come from an inside scoop history. You are a child of a realtor. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So my mom, which was really, especially for women, she went back to work when I was in first grade, and not to date myself, but it was kind of the mid 80s. And she was a real estate agent since 1985. She's still sort of an agent today. She's kind of upped her referral game as her side hustle.
Good for her.
But always, it was such a great career for mom growing up, because she was able to still pick me up from school. But then at night, like, she was like, don't come in, I'm on the phone. Like, she was always on the phone. It felt like at night, which now I know as a working mother, like, she was catching up on her emails and stuff. But she was the one too who taught me about sales. I've spent my whole career in tech sales, and now here, on the partnerships team at Curbio. But I'm going to have her on like your podcast next time, because she has all these nuggets on like setting goals and like, how to interact with, homeowners and how to keep homeowners. She's a really good referral business, and also like how to prospect, and like the fact that, prospecting is very different today. Like, my mom's not very good at social media, but picking up the phone and staying in touch with people. And she always sent out magnets and all sorts of brochures and mailers. So she really had her marketing plan, even when it wasn't cool to have a marketing plan as an agent, she always did. And it really helped her business. And so she loves the fact that I work for Curbio, and she's not actively really selling anymore, but she's like, oh man, if I was, and I had Curbio, like, it would have been so easy all those years.
Yes. I talk about a very simple 4-step approach to running a more efficient real estate business. And that's one of the things we focus on at Realty Funnels. First off, eliminate anything that you shouldn't be doing. For real estate agents, they're very quickly eliminating being the general contractor without a GC license.
Yeah, love it.
Secondly, automate anything that you can automate. So inside of, and your history is such in the tech world that you understand technology and automations and databases and CRMs. So automate anything that you can, any of those tasks that you have to do with robotic precision. Just make an automation for that so you don't waste your time doing it over and over and over and over again. Thirdly, delegate anything that is either below your pay grade or outside of your area of expertise. And here you're able to delegate the GC business, all of the communications in getting a home ready, all of the headache of now it's going to be 4 months before we can get it back on the market. And you're saying that this could be just a matter of a few weeks and it'll be back on the market. I think that speed to market is mission critical. And it's amazing that Rick was able to create a system that solves all of that. And after you have eliminated, automated, and delegated, then you're just left with your strength zone. That's where you need to spend all of your time anyway.
Yeah.
So if your mother had this back in 1985, oh my goodness, she would have had so much of her time back.
So much of her time, for sure.
Oh, this is really great. I don't know if I have any other questions for you. You've covered so much. How do agents get started? They obviously go to Curbio.com, and tell us a little bit about how that process works. So they go to Curbio.com and start the conversation.
Yeah, that's a great question. On Curbio.com, there's so many like marketing resources for the agent, like listing presentations, social content, how-to videos. So like, I recommend any agent to just go there and spend 15 minutes becoming familiar with what we do and how to talk about us. And then when you're ready to get started with a potential listing, just go to Curbio.com, fill out the address of the listing, your email, your phone number. One of our home improvement consultants will call the agent, and you'll just have a high-level conversation. Tell me about the house. What's the timeline of like, is it listed? When's it going to be listed? How big is it? What's the condition? Where is it? And then if everything is a good fit, we will send out a Matterport tech. Again, we do everything by technology. We'll video the house, we'll provide a 3D scan, and then we'll have like a more serious conversation. And this could be happening very quick, within a few days. A more serious conversation with the agent, and now we bring in the seller. We'll do a video call and say like, okay, here's what we would recommend. Here's the pricing. At the end of the day, the seller is like, this is what I want. I don't want to do this. Like, we're very flexible with creating that scope of work. And then we would have an official one all-inclusive price, includes everything. So for example, here's $15,000 bid. This includes new countertops, includes painting the entire house, includes the one bedroom that has carpeting, moving it to hardwood. Do you want to move forward, seller? The seller would then sign off on it. And then we would assign a Curbio project manager to take this work from start to finish. We provide a timeline. We're the ones that get all the contractors. We organize the times. We do order the materials. The agent is involved every step of the way. The seller also is involved. It's a team approach, but our project manager is the one leading the way and managing all of that communication through our technology platform. So there's never a cost to the agent. There's never any interest. There's no fees. Like the price that we show you, say it's $15,000, that's the price you're going to pay. That's it. Really easy.
Very straightforward.
Very straightforward. Yep.
This is a game changer for real estate agents, but also for home sellers. I often talk about the importance of being the best option in the marketplace. And you're either the best option in the marketplace because of location, condition, and price. But if you don't have that condition element in there, then the only way to be the best option is price going down.
Yeah. Nobody wants that.
And I think
the seller doesn't want it. The agent doesn't want it. Nobody wants that.
I think it's really interesting what you were also mentioning earlier is this can be happening at the front end before property is listed. So you're putting your best foot forward.
That's
but
right.
It's also a great solution when you know you're going to get one of those inevitable, hey, we want you to come over and talk with us about the marketing effort.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not the marketing effort, it's the price. But the reason the price is an issue is because the market is rejecting your condition.
Yeah.
And what a great time to bring in another option. Often, real estate agents struggle at that moment because they sort of thought the price was right when they first went in and listed it. The market tells them otherwise. Now they're feeling like, oh, I just don't know if I have any credibility left.
Yeah.
Tell them to lower the price only because, and the market shifts during a listing agreement. You know, the market, something happens on Wall Street, something happens in the news. People say, well, let's not do anything.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So this is a really amazing solution that you could bring in mid-listing and then not only salvage a situation, but really provide a better outcome in the end.
Yeah. And again, it's about options, right? Instead of like not having an option or saying like, I don't know what to tell you, like it's too high. Like at least you say we have another option. Like we could try cutting it again, or, hey, what about this other option for you? And I can't tell you how many agents I've heard stories of doing that, taking it off for a couple weeks and then putting it back on more refreshed and looking its best. And, either getting an offer at the same price or putting it even higher. Again, depends on how much work that you do, but, and what area and stuff you're in.
Well, I think this is just a fantastic tool that most agents don't even realize exists.
Yeah.
So Tracy, thank you so much for being on the podcast with us. Just fantastic information. Curbio.com. You can go in there and check everything out. Find the case studies that Tracy mentioned. You can learn all about the different markets in which Curbio is able to service home sellers and real estate agents. I'm very excited. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. This was super fun.
It was fun for me too. And I look forward to interviewing your mother next.
Okay. I'm going to send her over.
Thanks, Tracy.
Thank you. Have a good rest of the day.
You too.
Bye.
And